Hello, everyone. Good evening, and welcome to our conversation tonight. I have the amazing Dr. Williams with me. And so we're going to give it a moment to allow you guys to come in the room, tag three of your friends, tell them to come in. I'm going to tag some folk and tell them to join us. But I'm excited to announce this amazing woman to you guys that's going to be with us August 9th at our Pray Plan Execute. And I just wanted to give the opportunity for you guys to get to know her. Before that time comes, give you guys a little taste of what you're going to experience in the next coming weeks. So I'm gonna tag some people in the room.
Yeah.
Tell them to get in here. Let's see. All right. Some people in here. We'll get started. And for those of you that are gonna catch the replay, y'all know what to do. Drop replay in the chat. And if you guys have any questions, you guys know that you can always reach out and follow up with us. So, listen, welcome. Thank you guys for joining on this amazing Thursday night. I know it's super rainy outside here in Savannah. However, we're still here, we're still present. And so, as you guys know, we are planning ahead. Looking forward to seeing you guys in the room for our Pray, Plan, Execute Mastermind and Leadership Intensive. It's going to be August the 9th, Richmond Hill, Georgia, at the Richmond Hill City Center. I'm excited about this event. I hosted one of these in Baltimore in March, and I said I'm gonna bring one to the city where I live. This is actually my first in-person business event that I've done, and so I'm super excited about doing this. I feel like this is information that everybody needs. As it pertains to execution, as it pertains to vision. And I only bring the best. I don't know about nobody else on that events, but I just don't throw anybody up there. I'm just not going to present anybody or just put someone on a platform because of their name. But we vet them, we talk to them, we have conversation with them. And so I'm excited about this guest that we have, Dr. Williams. I tell you guys, we met she's one of my clients, and that's how we met. And when she came and sat in my chair, y'all, I didn't even know all of what she did. But every time she comes in my chair, I'm telling y'all, she shifts my life, like literally. And when people tell you that every coach needs a coach, everybody needs somebody, this woman, in the hour and a half to 2 hours that she sits in my chair and we have conversation, she gives it to me nice and raw. She don't play with me at all. But beyond that, she does so much more. And so at this time, I'm going to give her the opportunity just to kind of introduce herself, tell you guys who she is. I want you guys to get a feel for this amazing woman that you guys are going to see on August the 9th. And so, Dr. Williams, tell us about who you are, what you do, what is your background?
Well, I first want to say thank you so much, Takara Nicole, for this opportunity. And you're doing fantastic and great things here, not only here in the city of Richmond Hill, but far and beyond. So, as Mr. Takara Nicole said, my name is Dr. Antoinette Marie Williams. I am a author, a woman of Most High, and I am an individual that wants to see people heal and be true. Because a lot of times we want to heal, but we still lying.
Ooh,
And it's
there she go. I told y'all.
we do. We want to see we talk about healing and we talk about reciprocation, but we are still lying. And the worst thing that we could do as a people or as individuals is lie to ourselves about the harm, the hurt, the good, the bad, and the ugly. And so God has placed me on this earth planet to be that magnifying glass, but to do it in empathy and with grace and care and compassion, and to embrace, and particularly women that have a story to tell, but also know their value. So I've had some people to call me lots of things, from prophetess to seer to whatever, people call you what they see.
Yeah.
And so that's a little bit about me. And as I continue to do this work and knowing exactly who I am, so when this was presented, plan, pray, and execute, I was like, yes, we in the house on this one. And so my goal is to give as much as I have within myself to individuals that perhaps need it and don't have a sense of direction, but have a want to spirit. It's nothing like talking to somebody and you got all these pearls that you casting, and they don't want that. So
Wow.
I'm coming for people that have a want to spirit, that wants to execute and not just pray and say, well, God gonna do it. Well, God done already did it. You know what he did? He created and curated you. So you got to get up now and you got to get some work done.
Wow, that is so good. She says you got to get up and get the work done. She said he already created you, so it's already
Yeah.
done. And so
Yeah.
it's time for us to get up and execute. When she first got on, she said she talked about us being true and how sometimes we lie to ourselves. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
We make believe like we're in a place. But the reality is sometimes we're not in that place that we think that we're in. We're really lying to ourselves. And so like I told y'all, she don't sugarcoat nothing. She don't sugarcoat with me at all. And I love it because we need that in this season of time. We need people that are willing to be real with us. The only way we're gonna find true healing is if we really be real about ourselves. And a lot of times, if you don't get that healing, you cannot get in a posture of prayer. You can't get in a place of planning, and you're not going to execute if you're not first dealing with, the main thing. So that's what I love. um can you talk about a moment where you've had to pray, plan, and execute, and what was at stake as you navigated through that move?
I think this is a great question, and I can tell you about several years ago. I was, doing this great corporate America work and had my stiletto heels on and my pencil skirt and doing all that great work. And I was driving one day and I got a severe migraine, or what I thought was a migraine. And ultimately, I came to find out I had a brain aneurysm.
Wow.
I had a tumor actually, and I'm so grateful that God delivered me from myself. And I think in telling this story, my hope is that it helps somebody. So yes, I prayed, and a lot of times when we get in squeezed, or when we get in tight situations, God has our attention. So God had my attention at that particular moment, and so yes, I did the praying. I prayed, God help me, God, if you get me out of this. Oh, you know how we pray.
Yeah.
I'm not going to do it anymore. But I'm going to tell you what God said to me is that I'm going to get you out this situation. But what is your plan not to get back in it?
Wow. That's good right there.
Oh my goodness. And so I had to do the work from the inside out. And so a lot of times we have a lot of power, we have a lot of influence, we have a lot of people that are looking up to us. And so when I committed myself to saying, yes, all of that is good and you got all this material stuff, but at the end of the day, how do you stay out of that? And you can still have all of that, but you have to go from the inside out and say, you know what? I know who I am.
Yeah.
I know that I am a daughter of the Most High. I don't have I don't have to continue to allow for myself to have chronic stress and be the superwoman. And so once I ask for one, and this is the part where people, a lot of times we don't look at it. When you pray, when you are going to God, you first have to apologize. We know
Ooh.
it's something that God ain't told us to do, but we don't want to do that part. So I had to apologize and I had to say, God, forgive me because you told me to stop. You told me to slow down and I didn't. And
Wow.
then I had to come in and we worship and we praise God. And so then I had to say, how do I plan to get myself out of this situation? How do I plan to pull back? How do I plan my finances? How do I plan my finances and stop going to certain places, because I'm not going to give anybody any power, so we're not going to say no names or no stores that we've been shopping at. But how do I plan my budget to
Yeah.
say, you know what, I don't need to work as hard because I don't need that stuff. I don't need to work as hard and stay at a place for 10 to 12 hours. So how do I plan and tell myself, okay, this is what I'm going to do? How do I create my list? And then once I created my list, I had to execute. It's easy to say what you're going to do. It's harder to execute the plan.
That's so good.
And so I had to make sure that I not only said what I was going to do, I had to execute that plan. And a lot of times I've heard people say that planning, that's, you don't have to do no planning, that God's going to do it. Well, I would say this to you. Planning is not anti-faith. Planning is actually very biblical,
Yes.
because in the book of Proverbs, 16th chapter, the Bible says that commit yourself to whatever the Lord is telling you to do, and he will establish your plans. That's what the good book says, that he will establish your plan. And establishing your plan means God will set some stuff up for you that you could never even possibly do on your own.
That's good.
Yeah. So those are, an example of how I had to just look at my own life and say, you know what? And even times now, I do some work at the city of Savannah. And so I see myself a lot of times now, like, man, I've been here 10 hours. And so, God would say, oh, that's what you're doing? You still reverting back? I have to go back. Let me get my stuff. Let me come up out of here.
Oh, right. Because that's so good. Because like you said you had to ask God to forgive you. We were talking about that. I don't know, some session I did, and we were talking about how, we're not always a good steward over our finances. And I think what you
Mhm.
said is so true, like how you had to reevaluate your finances. And we don't think about that, But
Mhm.
in order for us to get to that next level, it's going to require us to eliminate and be very, very intentional. And so when you talk about you had a brain aneurysm and you're like, I got to change some things in my life, it wasn't like you were waiting on God to be like, okay, well, God, you tell. God is like, no, you're gonna have to do the work, And so being able to analyze, have a plan, be very strategic. Okay, I cannot spend like this because I want to get to this next place, And so whereas I had this job, I had this, and I was able to do, certain things, I can't do that. I was telling them, even as it pertains to like even people as entrepreneurs, some of us are working harder than we need to because we're
Yeah.
living above our means.
Yep.
every
Yeah.
every time you
Absolutely.
give yourself a pay raise, it means now you've created another bill in your house. And so you're
Yep.
not stewarding your finances well. So you're trying to figure out, well, how in the world am I going to be able to, do the things? And sometimes it means in this planning stage, trying to figure out, well, what is it that I need to eliminate? What is it
Mhm.
that I need to get rid of? And so that's really a good point that we're going to definitely talk about August the 9th, is that
Mhm.
finances and being a good steward over your money is just as important as being a good steward over your time. And so a lot of times we talk about, oh, wasted time. A lot of us are wasting our money at the same time. So that was a really go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say absolutely. And even to leaders, whether you are a leader in a nonprofit, you are a leader in your own congregation, I would, stress this, and even as a word of encouragement, don't be afraid, even as a leader, even as a CEO, even as an entrepreneur, don't be afraid to use that whiteboard.
Yeah.
Sometimes we feel like because we have a title that we don't have to go back, and the plan or the vision has been created, but sometimes you got to tweak some things.
That's good.
So faith-filled people also need organized minds. You can
Mm,
be as faith-filled as all you want to, but if your mind is not steadfast, you will find yourself over in Lodabar someplace, and then you'd be like, how did I get here? Because
Wow.
you were steadfast. You didn't go back to the plan, go back to the vision and see, okay, I said in December that by May I was going to be doing this. It's okay. And sometimes we have to give ourselves permission to go back and review that plan. And if you need to tweak it, tweak your plan. It doesn't matter if you are a corporate in corporate America, a CEO, a stay-at-home mom. If things are not going according to that plan, give yourself permission to tweak your plan and say to Most High, let God know, you know what? I appreciate you and your insight, because I was going down the straight and narrow, then I
Yeah,
saw something. It's like squirrel. Then I started going the other way. So let's go back, and whatever amount of authority that you have, let's not to be ashamed to say, you know what? I need to go back. I need to pivot a little bit, and I
that's
need to
good.
make sure that I'm doing what I know that I'm supposed to be doing.
That's awesome. I think that's a good point that we've been talking about over the last couple of weeks, is that it's okay to pivot and uh give yourself permission to pivot. Give
Mhm.
yourself permission to alter and to change. When you wrote it 10 years ago, we didn't know that COVID was going to come. We didn't know that things were going to happen. And so it's okay to go back and make adjustments to some of the things that you set out. Another good
Mhm.
point that you even made, and I say this a lot, is that like leaders, it's okay that you don't know something and you have to go get it. So if there is an area that you are struggling in, if you struggle with finances, right? If you struggle
Mhm.
with finances, if you struggle with even with helping entrepreneurs, if you struggle in whatever it is that you may struggle, you might even struggle in, how do I articulate the vision to the people, right? Because it's one thing to have a vision, but it's another thing to know how to give the language of your vision to the people. And so, even
Yeah.
if you don't understand how to give it to the people, it's okay to bring somebody in to help you to articulate it to the people, because at the end of the day, the goal is always impact. And so, sometimes pride and ego get in the way of
Yeah.
leaders that prevent us from getting the job done because we are afraid to ask for help. And so if
Yeah.
we sometimes we got to lay that pride to the side, and it takes nothing away from you. It actually makes you a greater leader, that you recognize your weakness and you're able to go and get what you need to bring it back to your people so they can get it. And
Mhm.
so this is why this event is so important. Leaders, we are calling you guys to come to the forefront with no judgment, right? No judgment, just help, right? No
Yeah.
judgment, just help. We're not here to judge you. We're not here to say, oh my God, you got it wrong. We talk about coaches all the time, and we tell you as a coach, my job is not to say, hey, you're doing it wrong. I'm just here to help guide you.
Yeah.
you know and yes, there may be areas sometimes of correction, but it's not coming from a place to hurt or harm you, or to say that what you're doing is wrong. Sometimes it's the way that we're going about it sometimes
Yeah.
needs to shift. And so, leaders, if you're out there, do not be afraid. I think, and I think I want you can kind of speak to this too, is that, like, just growing up in church, and we've always had a mindset that, God will provide and God will do,
Yeah.
but we have to, let's talk about that, being able to kind of break free of that mindset that, like, yes, he will do and be and all the things, but we gotta do our part.
Yeah. And you know what? I think that that's so important, because you're absolutely right. We a lot of time, and we got songs about it.
Yeah.
Just lay it down, let the Lord, and the Lord is saying, hold on.
Ooh,
I have already, you said I'm going to fight the battle. I
man.
have given you the tools that you need. And sometimes that battle, and the majority of the times, it's not even something physical. Most of the times it's up here. It's up
That's
here.
true.
We are always thinking, we are always busy. And when it comes to execution really is where faith shows up in motion.
Yes.
There, there is no execution just by creating the vision. The execution happens when it is in motion. You're actually doing something. And even Yeshua, Jesus said, I must work the work of him that sent me.
Yeah.
So every single time we have a vision or we have a plan, you have to execute that. And the other thing too is that to leaders, don't get paralyzed by perfection. Oh, I don't know what people will say if I don't get it right. So what? So what? You didn't get it quote right the first time. That's why you need other guides, leaders, other advisors to come alongside of you to say, and to be your accountability partner to say, you know what? I know you're thinking about doing it this way, but have you looked at it this way? Maybe this is
Yes.
the better way. So done is better than delay. A lot of times people will be like, well, I'm just gonna, and I've heard people say this, I'm gonna park it. Well,
Right.
how long are we gonna park it? Execute with excellence and not with fear.
You know, another one they say is, I'm going to take it to the altar.
I'm gonna
And
take it to the
I'm
altar
gonna
and I'm
take
gonna
it to
leave it.
the altar. And you know what I say? That sometimes it's not the altar, we need a conversation, you know? And we need a conversation so we know what we're taking to the altar. Because
Yes,
sometimes we just going to the altar and we talking about some things that what we talk about here. You know what I'm saying? But
right.
sometimes you got to go and have the conversation, and now I can go to the altar and I can really say what I need. But the idea,
Hmm.
like, oh, let me just take it to the altar. I'm gonna just take it to the Lord in prayer, and I believe in the power of prayer, right? We talk about pray, planning,
Yeah,
executing,
of
but I
course.
have to be I have to be intentional about my prayers. So you can be
Hmm.
going to the altar, and you're like, well, God, can you do this? Well, what if that's not in alignment with what it is that you're trying to do? So even
Mm,
after you pray and before you plan, there are some things that you got to go back and do. And so
yeah,
sometimes even in the planning, you got to go back in prayer. Right? You may
absolutely.
pray and you're like, okay, God, do you want you gonna I'm gonna go forward with this. All right, now I'm gonna shift into planning mode. And now that I've planned, now that I know what I need, let me go back to prayer. Right?
Yeah,
Okay, God, I need you to do X, Y, and Z. These are the areas I need you to show up in. But the reality is that we just kind of just always throw the altar and I'm going to prayer and I'm going to God and well, let me pray about it. Are you ready to start the business? Well, let me pray and see what God got to say. You know what I'm saying? And the reality is that, like I told you the other day, like sometimes you will see a need, right? And God is like,
hmm,
because I allowed you to see it, like you said earlier, it's for you to do. And so if
hmm,
God is allowing you to see that there are women out there that are hurting, there are men out there that are hurting, there is a group of
yeah,
people out here that you feel like you are drawn to. Every time you get to the basketball court, they're there. If you think that you have to go before the Lord in prayer before you decide that you're going to start some type of community with them, you're
yeah,
crazy. He said, I already showed you that there is
yeah.
a void. Go fill it.
Go feel it. And then what we do is that we try to blame God. God,
Yeah.
I don't know my purpose. God, I've been asking you. God ain't gave me an answer yet. And I believe Most High is saying, I say what now?
Say
Hold
what?
on.
What you say?
So my thing is you can pray, you can plan, and still fail to walk it out.
That's absolutely correct.
And that is the reason why execution must become a habit. Anything that you want to obtain in life, you have to do it and repeat. Do it and repeat. And I've heard so many speakers say, in order to change a habit, you got to do that thing 21 times at least.
Mm,
Sometimes you got to do it when you don't feel good. You got to do it when you might be scared. And even if you're scared, you still need to start a thing
yes.
because you're sitting there. I don't like still water. A lot of times people like, they talk about I want to sit by the still water, but sometimes if water is not flowing, sometimes it can start to smell. So we
Right.
got to have movement. We have to have execution. You got to have a team. You got to have people that will say, I'm going to hold you accountable because I love you. There's a way to do a thing. The Bible says there's a way that seemeth right, but at the end, it leads to destruction. We got to be responsible and accountable on how we speak to one another.
That's good.
Sometimes we put more emphasis and we make other human beings feel like, well, you didn't do it this, you didn't do it that way, and you didn't do it in May. So that must mean that you're not the man or the woman of God. You still are the man and woman of God.
That's
So
right.
that's why it's so important for you to have a team around you that is like-minded, not the same. Because when I hire people on my team, I hire people to wherever I see there's a gap or wherever I see there's a weakness. I don't need another Dr. Anntoinettemarie Williams.
That's
I
good.
need somebody that says, you know what? I know how to do tech. I know about AI. I know how to create you an avatar. I don't need for somebody else. I know leadership. I know developing programs and pastoring. I know that. I need for somebody. Let me tell you something. I want the ones that the other people don't want.
Mm,
I want the ones where they have a lot that is already embedded with them, but people have pushed them to the side. Because
wow.
there's no place in the Bible that talks about membership. There's no place. What God has told us to do is to make disciples.
Mm,
But a lot of times we're so focused on the amount of people that we have. And so those individuals that really know or that are searching for their purpose, on August the 9th, this is a conference that you want to be at. And you want to be able to say, you know what? Call your friend up and say, listen, I don't know what you're doing, but this is something that I really need. Whether you are an entrepreneur, whether you are an established or seasoned business, we're going to show you and give you tools of the trade to be able to pray in business, in your family, in your marriage, to plan in your business, in your family, in your marriage, and to execute, to see that thing come to fruition.
that I told y'all why I love her, right? Because she don't play no games. She come out the gate ready, and I appreciate that. I'm always looking for people that have a heart for people, and that was one of the things that really made me gravitate towards her is that she has a heart for the people. She is such a well-rounded individual, like just in every area she has been able to navigate through. And so I am excited that she's going to be with us. And I want you guys to be in the room. This is take advantage of this opportunity. Yes, we know things are happening in the world, but we know that God is greater, right? However, he wants us to be prepared. And so this is the perfect moment, time, opportunity for us to come together. This is not even, this is a tool, but this is also networking. This is also skill building. This is also finding your gaps. This is also
Yeah.
finding your people. She, Dr. Antoinette Marie, she spoke earlier. She said, listen, she said, I don't need another me on my team, right? But I'm looking for gaps. And I can tell you guys, there are going to be some people in the room that are going to be gap fillers. There are some
Yeah.
of you that are looking for people to fill your boards. You're looking for people to fill areas of your business that you're not quite efficient in. Come be in the room, not just for us
Yeah.
speakers, but you don't know who else is going to be in the room that has the key to your next. When we had the one in Baltimore,
Yes.
there were so many connections made. There were so many people that were able to make connections, and now they're joining up and doing podcasts and having events
Mhm.
together and doing things together. They were able to find their missing links. And this is why the Lord has graced me in this place to be able to curate spaces where you can find your missing link. I found my person hopping on an accountability call in the middle of COVID.
Yeah.
And BB, which is our co-host, y'all know, y'all heard our story and we talk about it, but we were on an accountability call and we were like, hey,
Mhm.
listen, let's just talk. Where are you at? What do you need help with? And through that, we were able to go through and like, so my strengths and her weaknesses. And so that's why we're able to work well together. People think that me and her are just alike, and we're not. Me and BB are two different individuals, but we've learned how to operate between each other in the midst of our strengths and our weaknesses. And so the
Yeah.
areas where BB, she'll tell y'all on August the night, we talk about it. She'll be like, oh, I'm a procrastinator. I'm an executor. So I have to light a fire
Mhm.
under her behind. I'd be like, girl, what you got going on? We got work to do. And I had to give her her list, and I know it's going to get done. When it came down to the event in Baltimore, when I pulled up, she wasn't there. But guess what? She was like, hey, listen, I'm gonna hit Sam's. I'm like, well, you hit Sam's, I'm gonna decorate the venue.
Yeah.
When we came in, I held the camera when she spoke, she held the camera when I spoke. She cooked brunch. while I had to host. We were able to play off of each other's strengths and weaknesses, and we were able to pull off a conference with me living in a whole nother state, for almost 50 people. So what I'm saying is that go get in the spaces of the people that have your next. I told you guys on a live not too long ago that a lot of times you're looking amongst your people and sometimes the people around you to become that person. But sometimes when you got to go look beyond, you got to go to the spaces where your people are. And I pray,
Yeah.
plan, and execute is one of those spaces where you're going to find your people. All right. So I want y'all to be in the room. So that's kind of all we have for tonight. I'm going to allow Dr. Williams give us something. I'm going to go ahead and put the QR code up for you guys. If you haven't already registered, go register. You can click the QR code. You can go to takaranicole.com. I'm gonna put it inside the chat.
Yeah.
Go register. Listen, y'all, I am amazed. Just as we were talking, people were registering. I think we are close to almost 30 people, and we still have a month to go. I'm so
Yeah.
excited. And so my goal was actually 50 people. And that's just because I love intimate spaces. Now I'm always good for the overflow. And I ain't gonna lie, these last couple of months, God has been showing me what overflow looks like. So we got overflow. We gracefully accept all overflow, and you are definitely going to get everything that you need. However, we are only 20 people away from our goal of 50 people, and we still have a month, y'all, to go. And so, listen, I'm excited. I'm ready for
Yeah.
this. It is so needed. And so we're getting ready to go, y'all. So scan the QR code. Sign up today. We do have vendor spots available as well. So if you have books, if you have t-shirts, if you have whatever you have, journals, books, we actually have, as of now, 4 vendors, guys. Outside of our speakers, we currently have 4 vendors signed up. All right. So if you're interested in being a vendor, the vendor application is on the website. You can feel free to email us as well on the website. And so vendor tables are $30 along with your $20 ticket. So listen, I'm ready to go. I'm in go mode. All of us are in go mode. Listen, I told y'all that Dr. Williams is a gift to the body, and she is a gift to this event. I'm so excited that she said yes. I started planning before I kind of really all the way. I knew her. But when I got to know her and she began to share with me everything that she had to offer, there was no way that she was not the last one that was added as she was overlooked. She was an addition. She's adding to what we have already put out to do. And so because I know who she is and what she's capable of, I'm telling you guys, it's about to be amazing. So give us your final words. What do you feel like is something you want to leave with them is in the season now, and tell them to get in the room.
Yeah. So one of the things I want to say, and I know some people are going to look at this on the replay, I just want to say to you that you are the curator of your life. You can do whatever you put your mind to do. God is already on your side. You were created by a fantastic and awesome God. The book of Jeremiah 29th chapter says he already knew you before you came on this
You
earth. He knew
already
your
knew.
purpose. And so this is an opportunity that you have for $20 to come in an environment where people are going to love on you. People are
Absolutely.
going to also hold you accountable, but we're going to have an opportunity to network and
Yeah.
to encourage. And so for you as a leader, I think we all are leaders in some capacity. You
Yeah.
have an opportunity to be among people that are just like you, that have gone through just what you have gone through or just what you are experiencing, and to be a part of something that will reboot you to where you really truly want to be. It
That's
is about the prayer, it is about the planning, but it is about that execution. And
yeah.
we're going to be there to help you, to show you how to execute that vision that you have. And I don't know anywhere you can get that for $20
And
And
lunch is included. And lunch
and
is
lunch is
included.
included.
No
So no,
worries.
you're not. We pretty much giving it away. We pretty
Pretty
much are
much.
giving it away. And so if you are an entrepreneur, as Takara Nicole has already said, contact. Look at that QR code. Listen, this is an opportunity for you. And I know sometimes we say, well, I don't have no opportunity. Nobody wants to help me with my business. Everybody wants to do this.
Ooh,
No, ma'am, no ham, no, sir. We're not gonna keep saying that same thing. You have
right.
a great opportunity, and we're gonna do it all. Pray, maybe we can come in with the prayer, but we also gonna come in with the plan,
That's
and we're
right.
going to execute whatever
Execute.
it is on that day. So we are excited and want to see you on August the 9th.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for joining. I'm grateful for all of you guys that joined us tonight. Those of you, many of you have already signed up. I see some of you already in the chat. Good evening to all of you. Thank you guys for signing up. Tag y'all friends. Tell them come be in the room on August the 9th from 9 to 4. It's going to be awesome, amazing, life-changing experience. You're not coming just to talk. I told y'all that. We're not coming just to talk. We are coming to work. Listen, bring your laptops, bring your computers, bring your notepads, pencils, everything, because we are coming to plan and to execute. And so we're just partnering those prayers up. And so thank you for joining us tonight. Thank you, Dr. Williams, for being willing to be a part of this
My
event,
honor.
because I know that with you here, it's going to be an amazing event. And I can't wait for you guys to experience her in person and just be able to connect with her. And she has so many services beyond even what she's going to offer us on there. So I'm excited for you guys just to get to know her better. And some of you may say, listen, I need you on my team. I need you as my coach. I need you as my, as my mentor. I need you in my life. She is that one. And so, listen, thank y'all for joining. We're out of here. We didn't want to take up too much of your time. Meet us back here on Monday. We are going to be with Coach Steele, y'all. So, Coach Steele is going to be in the room with us on Monday. So, I'm excited for you guys to have the conversation with him. Share this live with someone else. If you're watching the replay, click replay. And all of the links are on the screen in the chat. And if you need additional information, you can always reach out to us on the website and also reach out to us personally. So I love y'all. I'll see y'all August the 9th, 9 to 4, Richmond Hill, Georgia, for I Pray, Plan, Execute, Mastermind, and Leadership Intensive. You guys have an amazing evening. Bye.
Be well.